Hey, it's a new word on the street. Yeah, you saw the title there. Don't Donald the Trump, a new debut song from the W2s. Man, multi-platinum producer, songwriter Peter Wolf, and lyricist, actress, fashion model Leah Wolf MILLESSI. That's the Italian. Hey, I say it right?
Love
Yeah.
that. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Brent. I really
Hey, you
appreciate
both
that.
just signed a deal with Wham Slam Records. And of course, your single that we're about to talk about, you feature an old friend of mine, John Schneider, from Dukes of Hazzard and Tyler Perry's Have Nots and Smallville. But this beautiful, incredibly accomplished couple doing something new and fresh, coming to us from Florida. So glad you're okay. But hey, catch us up on how you're doing, too.
Well, we're trying to infuse these terrible, strange times with a little bit of humor, because everybody needs to laugh from time to time. And my wife wrote this really fabulous, great lyric, and we were just having a ball putting this thing together, and it inspired me incredible. And I said, "Honey, we need to do a song on this," and we did. And then we called John, and John loved the song and said, "Yes, I would love to sing it. Please, let's record it." So we went up to Nashville and boom, recorded it in an afternoon. And he was such a wonderful pro. He's like a fabulous pro in every department.
Wow.
We did this in an afternoon. Did the video in the studio.
It was the
edited.
most uncomplicated
Yeah.
situation ever. I mean,
And usually I always
Wham
found
Slam,
out.
thank you, man.
Wham slam, thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
I like that there. Yeah, okay.
And in a way, in my career, I always found out when things come together easy and simple.
Yeah.
Then they're most of the time they're right. And this is exactly what happened here. And it took us a flash, a boom, and it was done. And we're very happy with it, and we love it, and we're now promoting it.
Oh,
So here
man.
you have it. Don't Donald the Trump.
Don't Donald the Trump. Talk about a career. I mean, gosh, over 250 million albums sold. You're a Grammy-nominated renowned composer, pianist, songwriter, arranger, keyboard player. Your credits are incredible. Playing keyboard for Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. You've written songs for Jefferson Starship and Commodores and oh my gosh, Wayne Chung, everybody have fun tonight. Man, I'm talking to the guy who wrote that. Yeah. Oh, wow. El DeBarge, Go West, King of Wishful Thinking, one of my favorite songs from that time.
Great.
Heart, These Dreams. Oh, my gosh. Patti LaBelle, On My Own. I mean, gosh, Peter, what song have you not written? Kenny Loggins, Playing with the Boys, Top Gun. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's just those things just happen, Brent. You can't do anything about it. You get into an industry and boom, 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 and you fly from project to project, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And luckily, I was getting more lucky than not lucky.
Oh, man. Well, you're so diverse too. I mean, gosh, the Escape Club, Pablo Cruz, Grace Slick, Santana, the Pointer Sisters, Chicago. My friend Bill Champlin was with Chicago, and Cliff Richard, Natalie Cole, the Scorpions, and Oleta Adams, and in Sync. I mean, you were humble enough, Peter, to cut it off there even before I got through reading your credits. You obviously love music, and you obviously love your lovely bride. How did you two meet?
Well, that is a great story. Maybe I should do this.
You always do it.
Now you have to understand, being a musician, musicians love pretty women.
Of
right?
course, that's I know.
A fact. So Austria is a very small country. We only have 8 million people, and we only had one supermodel ever in Austria, and that was her.
Right? Hey, man!
So when I saw her pictures, right, I went like, "Oh my God, she's Austrian! Is my God! One of these days I would love to just meet her and say hello." And so then one day in Los Angeles, and we used to mainly live in Los Angeles. Now we still have our house here and there, and we have our house in Florida, and we're always back and forth. In Los Angeles is the Austrian Consulate General. And back then, the Austrian Consulate General invited me over you know, to that 26th of October. That is our 4th of July in Austria.
Oh, wow.
So we had this big party, and, you know, and everybody showed up, Arnold and everybody, all the famous Austrians. And all of a sudden I look, and here is LEA MILLESSI, right? And I'm the biggest fan, and I'm going like, how the hell? You know, do I just walk straight over and say hello, and I'm a fan? And then the next thing I knew is she comes over to me and she goes, "Oh, Peter Wolf, I'm such a Frank Zappa fan."
No, and I mean, I love great music altogether. So it's not just Frank, but it was.
Oh.
Well, and we were born in the same hospital in Vienna, which is kind of funny too.
Yeah, that's
so
a
cool.
weird coincidence.
It's a super, super tiny private hospital,
Yes.
and most likely even in the same room, different times, but most likely same room.
Well, what a beautiful couple you are. And I thought you were going to say Schwarzenegger lead up and said, "Look out, there's a babe in there."
Yeah, we just watched Terminator with our son, and he loves it. So that's a timeless situation too. No, but what I think is so beautiful about what's happening right now is that everybody is kind of like getting together to help the country. And this was also kind of like our motivation behind the song, because I mean, we always do, we bounce off ideas from each other, and then either Peter starts with the music or I with the lyrics, and sometimes it's for a movie, for documentaries, for an artist. But this time it was just like, let's do something that kind of like motivates everyone, and where you say, because us coming from Austria, and now we are both very proud Americans, but it's just, I mean, this is the best country on earth. Yeah. So there is no, it's not just the beacon of freedom, but it's the beacon of everything. I mean, it's as good as it gets, right? And I think to try to save it, and to try to, I see it now, you know, people homeschool their kids. Our son is homeschooled. People grow their own food. People get involved politically. People people are talking, and it goes through all, I think, demographics. And I think that's it goes back to us, the people, you know. So I'm super excited about kind of the time we're living in, as crazy as it is. And you go like, what's going to happen next? Just bring it on. Yeah. But I think what that started is a movement that goes beyond presidency and beyond even politics. You know, it's a mindset. And I think we got that spirit back on the country was founded upon. Exactly. And we thought we need to write the anthem for that movement.
Wow.
And so that's what we tried to do, and hopefully we did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having so much fun seeing you two and meeting you two. You know, Fricker is German, and our family crest is the knight helmet, of course, but has the wolf on there. Of course, that meant something different in the medieval times. A resourceful, protective, loyal, you know. And it's just so wonderful to, on so many levels, to meet you two. What a beautiful couple! What an accomplished couple! But you love America. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. America loves you. You know, Peter, you've written the soundtrack of our lives in so many ways. A lot of these hits, especially with Generation X, but Boomers love you. All you know, it's so exciting. But for you to use your talents, and Michelle, you know, the same thing, for you to use your talents and your giftings. To lift up our country. What does it tell you, folks, when freedom-loving musicians and artisans and actresses and authors and leaders are saying the same thing? We've got to protect the last bastion of freedom on the earth.
That's right.
That's America. You know,
that's right.
I've been to places in the world where there's no freedom. And I personally think we need to have maybe the next song is the Cuba fund for sending all those who love communism to Cuba. I think it's cruel to keep these communist lovers in America. They need to go home where they'll be happy, right?
One-way ticket. I'm going to write the lyrics right now. My head is spinning. Thank you so much. It's great inspiration. I like that.
Yeah, you know the leftist Cuban fund, but don't Donald Trump. You got a video too, and I want everybody to connect with this lovely couple. You know, there's resources here. I have a direct link, but also, are there other websites and other ways to connect with you as well to buy this song and to get behind what you're doing?
It's on Spotify and it's on the major. We have a link. It's called don'tdonaldtrump.com, and you can kind of look it up, and then you have the different
I'm there right
providers where
now.
you can get it. Yeah.
I'm there right now. Spot. If you go to don'tdonaldthetrump.com, you can see the links right there. Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Pandora, YouTube. You can watch the official video on YouTube, which we will actually play the actual video at the end of this interview when broadcast. Amazon Music, Deezer, Tidal. And that's just the beginning. I'm excited to see when we can see you perform this in person.
Yeah, we would love to.
Yeah.
We go out on the road with John Schneider. That's the next step.
John and Didi and us on the road. I mean, we have a funny thing in common with John and Didi. We love road trips. So whenever we go back to California, we take the family in the car, like kids, dogs, and we just go from Florida to California and back. And
we've done it 8 times.
Yeah, and the things that you see on the road, I mean, it's, again, the beauty of the country, the beauty of the people, how I just love talking to whoever we meet, you know, and you end up in a gas station in the middle of nowhere in Louisiana, and you meet the most interesting people, and then you go to Oklahoma, and then you go to Arkansas, and then, of course, the western parts we know a little bit better, but it's just so impressive and so refreshing to see that. I think the country is way more united than they all make us believe. Yeah. It's when you talk, everybody has the same ideas. You know, the media says one thing, but let's just not listen to the mainstream media because that's nonsense. But when you talk to, like, America through all demographics, everybody is like, this is nonsense, that's smart, that's nonsense, that works, that doesn't work. So I've never met a person in Louisiana who says, hey, communism is cool, or Oklahoma, or so on. That's more like a city kind of LA, New York, whatever vibe, you know. But
it's also, I have to say, sorry for interrupting you, but I believe that the Americans have an unbelievable survival instinct.
Oh yeah.
You know, much more than any Europeans or Asians that I have met. And that is sort of ingrained in us. And that's why I have the ultimate optimism. You know, we're going to pull out of this big time. There is no doubt in my mind. I could never have achieved any of what I have achieved in Europe. It's just not possible.
Wow.
America is still the land of the
free, the home of the brave.
And opportunities.
And opportunities,
it's really,
of course.
It's, I mean, I think
it's the best. That's all there is.
You know, again, it's amazing to meet you because you've written some of the most all-American songs that our generation is known for. You know, I was about to ask you, and I'm so glad you went there, Peter and Leah. You know, the nation is not as divided as what the mainstream media, which I hate to say it, but our enemies own our media, folks.
Yeah,
that's right.
You might as well just turn it off. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what network you're talking about. And just, I believe it was the other day, our own government that has betrayed us in so many ways, sold over 200 radio stations and more to Soros. Yeah, that's such a crime, such a travesty. Yeah. And yet they want your vote. It's treason.
It's treason.
You know, I get to talk to people in Rome and Israel and England. I would sure love to talk to you two again as well for your perspectives and the people that you know and love around the world. You know, when I went to Egypt, when I went to when we landed in Paris, even Germany and Austria, and they're all like, you know what, your media lies to you. None of us believe that Biden won the last election. None of us believe that. And we all have our popcorn waiting for you guys to stand up. And as of yesterday, I believe, our own military was given the authorization to kill Americans on American soil. My God, folks, you got to vote. You know, Peter and Leah, I bet you know that 34 million evangelicals didn't even vote.
I know. Yeah. That's utterly concerning. Yeah. Even gun owners, it's a high percentage of people who don't vote, which I just can't understand, because then, you know, when I talk to people, I always try to find like common ground where we can meet, that you don't, so if you say certain things, they don't listen any longer, or they get totally crazy. So you don't want either of those things. So when you find common ground, I think you see that we have so much in common, and it's really that many people are just they just don't know what things really mean, because they hear those talking points and they go like, yeah, that doesn't exist. And then I said, please, you can go to government websites and find. That's not me saying that, or Charlie Kirk or Tucker Carlson, whoever. Right. No, that's really in the government agenda. That's not an opinion or something where they go, oh my God, I can't listen to that. No, those are actual facts. And I mean, I think this is worrisome on one hand side. On the other hand side, it gives us the opportunity. I mean, our pastor in California, he always says, the left is not our enemy, it's the opportunity. And I think that's I always think of that, because sometimes when they're too crazy in California, there are many crazy people like, oh, this is really very crazy. But when you start talking, sometimes you really can kind of like sway them a little bit, at least. Right. You know, they're not going to be people who love Trump, but at least they see, well, I mean, our side is not as evil and as crazy as it's portrayed, you know. And I think it's baby steps, you know. The crazier they are, the more baby steps it takes to get them back to
and it's also
sanity.
It's also you know, we happen to love Trump. You know, we've met him. We think that he's a fabulous guy. So this is a different story. But even if you don't love Trump, this whole situation now is so much bigger than just one person. It is now, like we said before, it is about the freedom that we cannot lose.
Right.
That's why we all have to stick together, and common sense has to rule. That's all there is to it.
It does. You know,
how can you get behind the movement that loves to change kids? You know, you send your kid over who is a boy in the morning, and the girl comes back home. What the hell is this? This is totally ridiculous. You know, how can
also late-term abortions and so on. I mean, it's just, I think it went way too crazy. And with Trump also, what I always say, because people say, oh my God, he's so this and that, and mean tweets and women and so on. I don't care about that. What I think, what is the most outstanding thing about him is that he's as resilient as they come. I mean, now, as we speak now, there were like at least 2, if not more, assassination attempts. You know, it's bashing for the last 8 years. It's trying to bankrupt him, lawsuits. I mean, all these things, and the guy is still standing. So to me, coming from Europe, I mean, that's America. That would be an action movie, you know. In the 80s, that's the guy who always comes back. He's like the Terminator, the one that melts, you know. Come back, come back, come back, come back.
And that's the kind of leader that we need now. I mean, you know, we are so close to a possible world war. We can't have that. No. Who wants another war? It's
you know,
totally ridiculous.
I was a global news anchor, a counterterrorism correspondent, reporting on Obama's Muslim Brotherhood that's been leading this administration. This has been Obama's 3rd term, folks. Don't be fooled. And those of us who know, I saw his handiwork in Egypt, in Cairo, Egypt, after his 2-hour Arabic speech saying, I am one of you, to the terrorists. And of course, the women and children that were raped, and the men that were murdered because of his Muslim Brotherhood's $7 billion of your tax dollars, folks, stolen and given to the Arab minority in Egypt. President Sisi overthrew him, and my friend Dr. Ron Charles was Trump's pick, one of his top picks for ambassador to Egypt. And we went to Garbage City and saw the handiwork of how radical Islam works with communism. And here we have it here, and folks just don't want to admit it. But it's a truth. But to see 2 people like you with your accomplishments, with your influences, to encourage Americans to wake up, snap out of it. Don't go the way of Venezuela. Oh, it'll never happen. You know, most of the Germans were not on board with Hitler. But he did the same things with the media. He did the same things with his brown shirts. You know, China. I was producing the news coming out of persecuted China. The same thing with the media. The Venezuela. You know, the same people cheering for communism are now eating in the streets 20 years later. But here we are. We have a chance to do something. And it just overjoys me that people like you, who have had a lot to do with the fabric and the identity and the freedom of America, with the universal language of music, you're using your gifts yet again with this new single, to Don't Donald the Trump. And so, folks, do that. Go to that website, buy as many copies as you can, you know, whatever platform suits you. but get behind this beautiful couple. And you know, I know that there's other people who would like to hear more from you two and celebrate your careers and celebrate what you're doing as well. I think it's pretty cool that you named yourselves the W2. Tell us about that. Who decided that? What happened when that came together?
that was, again, it was just a little idea of my wife's. And I went like, wow, that is cool. We should do that.
There's a commonality. The
tax season thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of taxes, you know, my gosh, these people are raising your taxes, but they want to talk about capitalism. You can't have both. You can't do away with the middle class and have socialism and communism and have anybody prosper. But you know, again, I love it. I love it. The W2s. You know, I used to love the B-52s. Now it's the W2, folks. You know, that you got to get on board. You know, what are some other ways that people can support you two as well, besides going to don'tdonaldthetruck.com and buying your music?
Well, for now, I think we just all need to go out and vote and get that done. And then that one ticket to Cuba thing,
That's a good idea, man.
Yeah,
very good idea. You get total credit for that. Right?
Yeah, you know, for $5 a week, you too can sponsor a leftist to go home to Cuba. It's inhumane to keep them from their homeland. But on a serious note, folks, you know what? We've got to stick together. And but you two are a valuable couple. Thank you so much for what you've already done.
Thank you so much, Brad.
And love it. And what you're going to do.
Person to talk to. Thank you.
Well, so honored, folks. There you go. Don'tDonaldTheTrump.com. And of course, those who see this on broadcast and streaming and cable nationally and worldwide on all the platforms, get behind this beautiful couple and buy every bit of music they have. And again, a delight to have you two. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Whenever. You tell us.
Our pleasure.
All right. We'll see you next time, folks. God bless you.
Looking forward.
God bless America.
Bye.
You can Mark the Twain and Kurt the Cobain. You can Mickey the Mouse and Levi the Strauss. You can Oppenheimer. You can Rocker the Fella. And you could even Fitzgerald the Ella. Go skipping, dipping, stool, skipping, wine, sipping, FedEx shipping. Have your supper late, catch the fish without bait. Sing with your makeup on, forget the club card coupon. But whatever you do, don't you Donald the Trump. Pump and jump, just don't Donald the Trump. Drain the swamp, you can't Trump the Trump. And never stop, never stop, never stop on the Trump. You can Schwarzenegger and Mick the Jagger. You can Zappa the Frank, get more buck for your bang. And Justin the Bieber and get cabin fever. And you could even Sigourney the Weaver. Go skipping, dipping, stool, skipping, wine, sipping, FedEx shipping. Have your supper late, catch the fish without bait. Cheat with your makeup on, forget the club card coupon. But whatever you do, don't you Donald the Trump. Pump and jump, just don't Donald the Trump. Drain the swamp, you can't Trump the Trump. And never stop, never stop, never stop on the Trump. Don't you kill everybody. Let's dismantle every lobby. Let's all unite. We gotta fight, fight, fight. Quiet down. You can Chuck the Berry and Dirty the Harry. You can Charlie the Brown and Krusty the Clown. You can Wayne the John and Johnson the Don.
He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord who is my refuge, then no harm will befall you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation.